Hello, my friends. Welcome, welcome. Ah, I was just having an image before I got back here from the other room, which was, when you're like going to a festival or you're going to an event and you're looking for close friends, and you're sort of looking around, and then you see them and they see you, and you have that. There's that kind of like, oh, there they are, they're my friends. And
Mm.
I was imagining that for myself, and what I realized was that when that kind of attention comes toward me, I have this, the whole front of my body opens, and it's like,
Mm.
and so to me, that's the kind of power that our attention has.
Mm.
It has the power to welcome, to open, to let us know that we are welcome. And so the loop of awareness that I enjoy the most is a like, hello, oh, there you are. And also that, oh, I'm so glad. It was reminding me of the harmonoids, which we've mentioned many times, but not for a while. And so the harmonoids, Kurt Vonnegut, in one of Kurt Vonnegut's book, he mentions, and it still goes by very quickly, but the harmonoids, their only job is, this is their exchange. One person says, here I am, and the other says, I'm so glad. And so for me too, that's the kind of attention and the effect of attention that we're really going for. And so I'd love for you to let yourself just have a couple of minutes of practicing what we call loop of awareness, which is really shifting your awareness from out there to in here, and out there with a kind of, whether, oh, they're welcome. So I'm welcoming all of the trees, which are so happy this year with all the rain. And then I think we forget to turn it to ourselves, like, welcoming. So what inside you wants to be welcomed? So I invite you to let your attention, like, welcoming out here and then welcoming in here. And then I was realizing that goes very well with a kind of not just loop of awareness, but love scoops. So you're love scooping out, like tossing all that love out there, and then you're love scooping in here. And I find when I use my hands, I use my arms, that gesture really opens up more participation in me. And when you're welcoming in here, notice if you're wanting to touch, or if you're wanting to hug, like you really want to take the love scoop all the way in. If there's something that's way in there that's going, no, I don't want to be welcomed, I'm not going to get welcomed. And then you kind of go, okay, come on, now we're going to welcome you anyway. And that exchange, I'd like you to just do that a few times, and then notice, pause, and then just notice the result of that. So for me, I feel if there's, I have an inner yum. That's one thing that's occurring for me. I also have more of a wiggle. My body wants to wiggle. So what I notice is that it increases my circulation. It increases my wanting to move in spontaneous ways. And so that flow of circulation is so important to our overall health and well-being. So I wanted to have you have that before I read you today's quote, which is really a great one. It's by Ilya um, Prigozhin, who is a Nobel laureate. So let yourself go ahead and keep circulating your attention. You might want to be circulating in you while you're listening to this. When a complex system is far from equilibrium, small islands of coherence in a sea of chaos have the capacity to shift the entire system to a higher order. So, uh, so I'd like you to let yourself change your position, because I want you to hear this once more. And then I want to tell you the definition of coherence, because it so fits with everything we're up to. When a complex system, like what's going on in the world right now, is far from equilibrium, small islands of coherence in a sea of chaos have the capacity to shift the entire system to a higher order. I love that. And then I thought, well, I'm going to just look up what the heck is coherence? So, the quality of forming a unified whole, the quality of forming a unified whole. And so I love that, because that's what we're up to, is forming and enjoying a unified whole. That's what the integrity practices are about. They're about the felt experience of wholeness. And my sense is that particularly the way that we shift and land our attention is so valuable in creating that sense of wholeness, or recreating it of something. Something is always happening. Some unexpected thing is always happening. Something's coming in from left field. Something that you had planned, falls apart. So, people get sick. So that's going on all the time. But my sense is that that's accelerated right now, that we have more chaos and more incoherence going on. And it can tend to pull us off into the chaos. And so coherence is so different also than sort of, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to, I'm going to be in control of this. I'm going to put my little body up against this chaos and I'm going to win. I'm going to be the superhero here. But as we join our attention and we're sharing this sense of welcoming and appreciating wholeness and supporting wholeness, I feel my whole system relaxing, slowing down, and feeling the sense of wholeness rather than the sense of being pulled and fragmented. So the other part of that was occurring to me today, of both love scoops and loop of awareness, is that when I'm practicing this welcoming, that I slow down. And my sense is that we get, all of us, without intending, get so pulled by all of these different forces, like with urgency. Oh, you have to pay attention to this. Oh, you have to pay, and this and this and this, and all of these emergencies. But when I come home, then I can be guided by being able to respond rather than react. And so as you're practicing, my sense is combining your loop of awareness with love scoops and with the Presence Connect play and with the integrity cards, you have something to fill your mind. So I'm going to share a card with you in just a moment. So a new thing to focus on. And then the loop of awareness allows you to have that sense of being included, of here I am, I'm so glad, and that you can have a place to come home to that has vibrance at its core rather than stillness and control. So you might even just for a moment let yourself get pulled off by whatever is pulling you off right now. So some kind of urgency of something that you've got to do or something you have to respond to up there. And I want you to notice what happens to your body when you let yourself get pulled. Just go ahead and do that for a moment and even accelerate it a little bit. Right. And then notice, yeah, beautiful. And if you're not doing that, you can notice what other people are doing. Uh, my cat, May, this is my cat who doesn't yet know how to use the door. And so at night I tape it open, but it doesn't look good. So I put it down now, but she's just over there. One of these days she's going to learn. Her sister just goes in and out, just, like no big deal. So that, having her scratch pulled my attention off. So now, how can you, in just a couple of shifts of welcoming and then welcoming, letting your attention come in and then welcoming. We know that it only takes 2 minutes of fear melters to regulate your brain, to give you that sense of presence and wholeness. And my sense is that just a couple of minutes of doing your loop of awareness will also give you that sense of, okay, now I can respond again rather than reacting. So you're not going to be able to stop the world, but you can definitely participate in a way that supports your own wholeness. So now I want to show you the card for today. And I'd like you to let your welcoming gaze go out into the card and then just notice what you're noticing. And then bringing what you've noticed back into your own body, and notice what wakes up or lights up in your own body as you're alternating going into the card with your attention and then going into your body with your attention. And wondering if you can do that while listening. So I'm going to add in saying the sentence a couple of times and then the question. I demonstrate 100% responsibility through my choices and by committing and recommitting to responsive creativity. I demonstrate 100% responsibility through my choices and by committing and recommitting to responsive creativity. Ooh, I like that one. I have more to say about that one in a moment. So here's the question, because this is intended to activate a different part of your brain and your mind-body brain. How can my presence inspire others to take 100% responsibility? How can my presence inspire others to take 100% responsibility? So let me say a couple of things about this responsibility card. I think that responsibility, we can come on back to the big group now. I think that the issue of responsibility is the issue of our time, that people don't understand that taking 100% responsibility means I am able to respond. And I really experience it as a reclaiming of my creativity. So if my creativity is getting pulled and I'm reacting and my creativity is spewing in all of these different directions that I am not choosing, then I become part of the chaos. But when I am willing to reclaim my creativity by what I'm choosing, so the sentence is that my choices and my choice to commit and to recommit, those allow me to respond to life as it's happening in a creative way rather than a reactive way. So I find that this card goes very well with fear melters. In fact, fear melters are a great way also of regaining your coherence. So you can put fear melters together with loop of awareness. All of these are like your little Legos, your building blocks that you can put together to increase your own felt sense of I am able to respond. And when you get whomped, there are things that happen that that you don't have any control over where you get whomped. These are ways that you can recover your ability to respond. So the committing, of course, gets you into the game, but it's the recommitting. And what I want to add to that also is there's nothing on this card about beating yourself up when you get pulled off, beating yourself up when you get reactive. That's a habit that I think keeps us in that loop of, well, actually, I'm not even going to call that a loop. It keeps us in the chaos because we don't feel that we have any way of really regaining our agency. So the intention here is not to try to change the world. It's to be able to respond to the world in ways that come from presence, and then that allows connection and that allows play rather than work and struggle. So, um, so I wanted to now share with you the Presence Connect play for today. And also just wanted to mention that those of you who are interested in going more into responsibility, which my sense is an interaction by interaction event that I learn about responsibility. So the next lesson gets presented to me. Life has a really excellent way of presenting my next lesson. And then my choice is to respond to that or not. And then for me, the bridge for my brain is, what can I learn from this? So not, oh, what did I do wrong again? Or what's your fault again? But what can I learn from this? And I find that when I'm doing loop of awareness and I'm going, what can I learn from this? That the learning can come from all kinds of different directions. It doesn't have to come from right this minute. And so if I'm open to learning, life will show that to me. And I can also order up my lessons in a friendly way. So we have learning like no pain, no gain. Life is hard. Your lessons need to be hard. And I have found that not to be true, that I can actually request that my lessons be friendly. Just like my upper limits, I can request that they are friendly. So there's a page on the foundation, an entire page on responsibility that has questions. It has a little activity. So it's got lots of goodies on it. And I find those also are ways that I can refresh my ability to respond creatively rather than reacting. So all of those are in support of your coherence and your growing coherence. Plus, I'm so grateful for your participation in this group because we accelerate each other's growth. So us joining together is so much more efficient than each of us, climbing the mountain like Sisyphus ourselves. So if you're willing to have things be friendly, that actually is a request that you can make of the universe and also of yourself. So what I want to share with you now is our Presence Connect play for today. So the app, which I think most of you know about, most of you look familiar, but if you are not, if you're new to this, we have an app called Presence Connect Play. That's a free app, and it is also in service of us finding a new way to be in the world rather than being on the drama triangle of the hero, the victim, and villain. So Presence Connect Play is basically what I do in the world now. Wherever I show up, then, my next opportunity to presence myself and then to connect and to play. So presence is very simply find your feet. Find your feet. And I can remember a few years ago of giving that direction to a group, and a whole bunch of them went like this. And they were like looking outside and looking at themselves from the outside to find their feet. And, that was very illuminating. I went, oh, wow, yeah. So finding your feet from the inside. So might even add finding and feeling your feet. So feeling your feet, feeling the contact between your feet and whatever they're touching, and letting that contact then come back up through your body. So when you find your feet, then the earth, the ground gets to support you from the ground up. So I love and finding your feet is a very quick way of coming back into your body. If you get really thrown by something, like the other day somebody ran a stop sign, and unfortunately I drive very with loop of awareness on high beam, when I'm driving, not for me, but for the kids on electric bikes that are coming across. So in that moment, I had a little, startle. And then I literally, I went to my feet, feeling my feet, and I came back into my body very quickly. So it's a skill that's very simple, but sometimes the simplest things are really the most powerful. So find your feet, connect. We've been practicing that to the connect today, because connect is open posture. So that I find, if I open, particularly here, because our computer practices basically close up our shoulders and heart area. So opening your chest, this is a great one to use with your loop of awareness. So opening your chest, opening here, because we tend to get tucked, when we're working on our devices. So opening your throat, and then noticing, is there anything else that's tucked or folded or squished? Because you may be sitting down on yourself. You may have been at it a long time, and so you're sitting down on your stomach. So you're opening that and playing. So you might, and also I think sometimes people experience open posture as, like you have an English school marm who's saying, open your posture. So to experience that as an invitation rather than a command. So how can I open to life and welcome life? And when you do that with your posture, with your body, then everything else tends to follow. And it actually will open your brain more if you open your posture, which is a plus. So the play invitation is to receive and then toss. So I'd love for you to think of your communications as tossing a balloon. And we actually have an activity about this that we call the basic toss. And if I'm in conversation and I'm aware that the conversation proceeds by then receiving the balloon, but then not hogging the balloon by not going, my balloon, I like this color, you can't have it. And we don't continue the communication until we toss it back. And when we play with this, we often find that people will get involved in something they're wanting to say or a reaction, and they literally forget that they're still holding the balloon. And so in your communication, if you receive, even if you don't like what's coming to you, if you let yourself receive it, and then toss. So in your receiving, then something might bubble up that you could say that actually is true, is accurate, is something that you're experiencing right now that you toss back, rather than the na 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 that happens when we don't really receive and then respond. So all of those are intended for you to be able to practice, and they all support each other. So presencing supports connecting, supports play. And as you are experimenting with them, my experience is that I grow my facility to be able to respond to life in a way that actually nourishes me. It nourishes me. I can see that it nourishes the other. But, I know I'm in a group of givers here. And so I want you to know that as you're doing this, it opens your ability to receive more deeply. So that's our play for today. And I'm just celebrating because I had a great time today. So I want you to just check and see, how's your vitality, aliveness, your sense of coherence, connection, because that's my intention, is that we support each other in finding coherence in the midst of chaos, because it doesn't seem like that's going to go away anytime soon. So thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to take my leave, and you're totally welcome to continue sharing big talk with each other. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.